Executive Director of the teaching union NAPTOSA. That's Basil Manuel. Basil, good afternoon to you. I can't recall off the top of my head if you were one of the parties in this case, but I do know that you believe the department's decision to order the rewrite of these two papers was an overreaction. I imagine either way you're pleased at this ruling.
Absolutely. No, we weren't a party to it, but we certainly supported the action. And it's absolutely correct. It was an overreaction. And the proof that it was widespread could not be tabled. We asked for it. We said you can't base a decision on 195 learners only. And in fact, the very fact that the investigation had not been completed said it was inconclusive. And hence we claimed from the very outset that it was an overreaction. And there are methods to solve it. Even if 1,000 children had the paper, it still does not justify that 400,000 would rewrite. And we believe that it goes down to the marking. And we do want those who are guilty of any infringement to be brought to book. And there are methods. And in fact, we have the Irregularities Committee that can deal with that. And teachers will pick up who those people are that copied. There are means to do that. And so we are elated at the decision. We believe it's in the best interest of our learners.
Do you believe then there won't be long-term consequences for this? I think you and I'm sure, would agree that we would not want the class of 2020 to go through life with this sort of question mark on their CVs about the fact they did physical science and maths in 2020.
I think that is also being overplayed by and large. For one, memories are short. Secondly, I don't believe that the vast majority of learners had anything to worry about. And we will prove, even in the marking, that in fact the decision today, the upholding of a view that says it's an overreaction, will in fact vindicate the people involved, those who cried out and said, stop, you're not thinking straight. And I don't believe it will have an everlasting mark on the matric exam. We blow these things up, we make everybody jump through hoops, but honestly, is the integrity really drawn into question? I believe that there are problems because of the mere fact that there are leaks, but I don't believe that it's things that can't be resolved. And I definitely don't believe in mass punishment to prove that you are trying to resolve it.
Cully Creel, the CEO of AfriForum, still with us, one of the parties in this case, so winning this case today. Cully, what we have now is a situation where the regulator or the quality assurance body, Umalusi, says there are problems with the integrity of the exam, and we have a court ruling that says the exam must not be rewritten, overturning the Department of Basic Education's decision. It would seem to me that a possible next step for you might be to now go to court against Umalusi's determination. In other words, if their determination that they can't back the integrity of this exam is not challenged, then the matric class of 2020, despite what we may like to happen, might feel that they've written an exam whose integrity is in fact under a cloud. I mean, is that something you would consider, that maybe Umalusi's determination would need to be overturned?
Well, if you look at the case, Umalusi was had a part in this case. They were one of the parties that said that they should detect the rewriting, and the court found against them. And Umalusi is not above the law. The department is not above the law. So there is no way that they can now find that this was not a credible exam. The court found against them. And I think what is great for me, this is better than a World Cup victory. What we've seen, if you've listened to NAPTOSA, we have SATU, the South African Democratic Teachers Union. We have people from all communities that have united in this case to say we have one thing in common, that we don't want our young people to be discriminated against. We don't want them to be treated unfairly. And we believe this is a huge victory, and Umalusi should abide by the court ruling because the court found against him.
Cully Creel, nice to see you and AfriForum and SATU on the same side of things for a change. I do appreciate the time. The CEO there of AfriForum, Basil Manuel from NAPTOSA, is still with us. Basil, the year 2020 is going to go down in history as easily the most difficult year for education. No one foresaw this final twist. the department, has a legal right to appeal. I think, frankly, everyone would probably just ask for some kind of finality to the year of education that's been 2020.
Absolutely. I certainly hope that common sense and good sense prevails and we don't see an appeal. Besides, it's very late in the day. 2020 has been enormously difficult. Even the Umalusi decision that the full-scale exam be written was a difficult one in itself because there are hundreds of schools that haven't completed the curriculum. And just to add on to the Umalusi bit, it's not beyond question. I think where the ministry really failed was to say to Umalusi, when it threatened not to endorse the matric exam, to prove that it was compromised. And in fact, we can't just take their word for it. But Kali is right. We have a ruling, and we'd like to see people abide by the ruling. And every teacher and every parent, every learner wants to see this school year end as soon as possible.
I think everybody wants to see 2020 end. Basil Manuel, thanks very much indeed. The Executive Director of the Teachers Union, NAPTOSA.